Okay. Okay. Um, so good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome back. I hope everybody has had a good week up until today. I hope everything is good. We are back inside the den. This is Tommy Hicks, and I am with my boy Daniel, the Lions Den Evans. We've been starting a little journey at this moment with our growth and reading and development, and we've been checking out the book at this moment, Think and Grow Rich. And this is part of our weekly segment of Weekly Wisdom Wednesdays. Um, Last week we had a good discussion on the first part of the first part of the second chapter, and today we'll actually be finishing up the second chapter of the book. Um, yeah, we'll be finishing up the second chapter of the book today. Sorry about that. So initially, after the six steps, when we had that's where we left off. The last time we left off was actually on the six steps. So we can take a trip back. Yes. All right. Read your written statement and think aloud twice. Now, let me ask you this: since Wednesday, have you actually redone your six steps?
All right, as far as redone them, I have not.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I mean, they pretty much already, to me, in my opinion, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Mm-hmm.
So I've actually have added,
Okay.
a few steps to what I'm doing. Uh, and it's like I say, this is definitely just a challenge in itself.
Mm-hmm.
To make sure I have the time to put into to the reading and the being able to take the notes and things like that. I just went through a training course on Saturday
Mm-hmm.
to become a life coach.
How did that go for you?
I mean, the training was good, but I still have to take the final exam
Mm-hmm.
in order to be certified.
Are you confident?
Well, I mean, this is one of the things I'm trying to find that time to get into the book and
Mm-hmm.
study for the exam. It's an open book exam, but still being open book, the answers may be like a needle in a haystack.
Yeah.
So you might have to go back and forth through the book just to find the answers. So I'm gonna have to get some help from some of my other classmates that was in the class and them help me, come up with a game plan to get this done. I got 2 weeks to get it done, so it's not really a whole lot of pressure, but the fact that we're doing other things.
Mm-hmm.
Once I get this particular part done, then I'm going to be tackling the PHP
Yes, sir.
with you and then your mom and then everybody we got recruited. So, and we got to take the state test for that.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Testing is a challenge
Mm-hmm.
for me because I have so much going on upstairs, and I have a tendency to get scatterbrained when I'm trying to focus in on one thing. So, I had to add a couple extra steps just to kind of like,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm gonna just go over the steps so we can recap from last week. Step number one is fixing your mind the exact amount of money you desire. It is not sufficient enough just to say I want plenty of money. Put a dollar amount on that money so you can have something to shoot for. And that's something that I challenge Elaine with. I've challenged you with. I've even challenged myself with doing those things and putting the actual amount and date on those things. Step number two was determine exactly what you intend to give in return for the money you desire. There is no such thing as something for nothing, meaning that if I say I want to make $1 million, what am I able to give in return?
Mm-hmm.
There's only a few things I can give: time, attention, and resource. I have to be able to focus in on what I'm going to trade in exchange for what I'm trying to do. And we all have to make that same decision.
Yes, sir.
Step number three, establish a definite date when you intend to possess the money you desire. And that goes back to what I said. If you put a dollar amount to it, you need to also put a date when you plan on getting this done so that you can hold yourself accountable.
Yes,
so
sir.
that if you don't make it by a certain time, you need to adjust some of your plans and some of your time and stuff like that. Number 4, create a definite plan for carrying out your desire and begin at once, whether you are ready or not, to put this plan into action. So you have to really start planning on doing a thing, and what better time to start than now?
Right.
So we all have to just start doing it, whether you're ready or not. Just start making some motions toward doing that, so that you can get in the habit of doing that. So
Right.
it's not foreign to you once you start the actual process. Number 5, write out a clear, concise statements of amount of money you intend to acquisition. State what you intend to give in return for the money, and describe clearly the plan through which you intend to accumulate it. And I said last week, this is a plan about money, but you don't have to use money. You can use whatever you desire in the place of money. If you desire to be married, if you desire to have kids, it all has to be a plan written out. And then the last one is read your statement out loud twice a day, once in the morning and once at night, so you can hear yourself saying that. I believe in the power of life and death is in the tongue.
Yes, sir.
I believe we got the power to speak things into existence. I believe we got power to think things into existence. So when you start talking about these things and you start speaking them, your subconscious mind start picking up on everything that's related to that thing. Notice how you buy a car and all of a sudden you see
the same car you
all
bought.
those cars on the road. They've been there the whole time, but subconsciously you wasn't tuned into it until you actually start driving. So
Yes,
when you
sir.
start talking about your goals around other people, like-minded people, you start to see things in your life that's actually similar to what you're looking at, and then that's how it becomes real, because you're able to talk this stuff into existence.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I completely wholeheartedly agree. I will say, not only is the book a challenge in itself, but actually holding yourself accountable to follow through on what you're doing in this book is a challenge in itself as well. If you have a chaotic lifestyle, or
Don't we all?
you have a very chaotic lifestyle, this is going to be a drastic learning curve for you, including and I'm speaking from experience at this point, because you're used to doing everything at sporadically in a spur of the moment. With this book, it's telling you, or it's teaching you, how to actually approach whatever you're trying to achieve with a concise and coherent plan in order to actually achieve it within a reasonable time frame. Going forward, though, after the 6 steps inside of the second chapter, I love how the author, Mr. Napoleon, he actually gave a couple examples of that. One of the biggest examples for me was where are you at? Well, let's retract. The fact that he clarifies these steps before even giving these examples, stating that this doesn't cause for hard work. This doesn't cause for you to bend over backwards. It doesn't cause for you to overthink what you're doing. It's literally just a plan of execution. And in that, again, he went to Henry Ford, the drunkard who really didn't know what he wanted to do, but he wanted to make money, and he ended up building cars from a horseless carriage, just off of pure imagination and strength.
And that's cold-blooded. How they said that, when he was designing the motor, how all the people kept coming back and telling him that it was impossible.
It wasn't going to work.
It wasn't going to make a 8-cylinder all 8 cylinders on one block. And after years of going back to the drawing board, I think he did like 100 and something attempts in order for him to finally get 100 something attempts for them to finally get it right. And then Thomas Edison dreamed of having a light that could be operated by electricity in the lamp. And this man said he failed 10,000 times
just to get it right.
10,000 times. And this book teaches you that don't look at failures as failures, but failures are success, because it shows you how not to do it.
It's a lesson. Yes,
You know
yes,
what I mean?
sir.
And
Yes, sir.
in the process of failing, you may find 2 or 3 ways that actually work.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I think, was it you that said that something was designed as a failure? One of the
It was designed as a failure, and it actually became like that. That became the permanent design for it.
yes.
I do remember
Well,
that.
I will say
remember
this to all the fellas out there, guys who the senior guys, the experienced guys, the blue pill was designed originally as heart medication. And in the process of trial and error during a heart medication,
Wow.
it was adopted as a performance
enhancer.
pill. So yeah, so it was
Wow.
it was a failure that turned into a success in another area. So understand that we can fail in one area and we can succeed in another area, and it's just showing us how not to do it or how to do it better. I will tell you that aerodynamically, the helicopter is not supposed to be able to fly.
Yes, sir.
But it works.
It works
because you have all these different components working simultaneously at the same time to make it work. So your failures are ways to succeed.
And I will say this is the book said it as well. And what's crazy is this book is so relevant because the description that it gave was a perfect. It said now is the perfect time. And this book was written. When was this? Before I get to my example, when was this book actually written? I really can't find it, but wow, published in 1937.
1937.
So we have a book that was published in 1937 that is still relevant to this day, and it states that this world no longer scoffs at the dreamer. Every piece of business to date has been done by the millennials and Gen X who were the dreamers, who sat there. Well, I wish one day I can make this happen. I wish one day I could make this happen. Now look, we got 4 or 5 different platforms we talking to people on, so you can understand this. That's it, and it was impractical. It was impractical. That's my point. This is the most prevalent time to be practical in anything that you want. You have a numerous amount of ways to achieve it at this moment. I did want to ask, when you face defeat, not a failure, but an actual mental defeat, because I didn't realize this about Helen Keller or his son. When you actually face a defeat or realize a defeat, what is your mental approach or mental reproach?
I'll be honest with you. About 90% of my failures can be fixed mentally. Like if you are riding a bull and you're looking for that 8-second ride, and on second number 4, you realize that I need to do this in order to stay on longer. But in the process of falling off that bull, you say, the next time I know what to do, because in mid-stroke, you know how to fix the problem.
Yes, sir.
A lot of the things a lot of times I'm mentally defeated is because I have defeated myself mentally. And a lot of the defeats and failures can be fixed mentally. And I'm gonna go back to that old saying that practice makes perfect, which was I found out not to be true. You can practice something 100 times incorrectly, and it's always going to be incorrect. You have to learn how to practice perfect in order to be perfect. So perfect practice makes perfect. So if I am defeated on something, I've already mentally calculated how they get it right the next time.
Mm-hmm.
And most of the time, it's a mental thing, whether I hit or miss. It's a mental thing.
Okay.
When I hit, it's because I'm clicking on all 8 cylinders. If I miss, it's because at some point of the process, I have allowed the doubt
Mm-hmm.
to set in. And it might even set in for maybe a half a second or maybe,
That's all it.
but that's all it takes for your mind to be thrown off.
Yes, sir. Yes,
If
sir.
you're doing something with precision, then it takes precision and not hesitation.
Mm-hmm.
And in a moment of hesitation, you lose.
Yeah. Yeah.
You lose. You know what I mean?
We can take it back to the old dueling days where men had to walk 10 paces, turn around, and then you had your Wild Wild West shootout. You hesitate, you're dead.
You doubt yourself. You're dead.
And I say take that mental mindset into whatever you do. Because if you think that if you hesitate on what you want to do, you're done or you're failed or you defeat, that's only going to want to make you achieve that, or that's only going to want to make you act on it.
Tell me about Helen Keller. Tell me about it.
Yes. So first with Helen Keller, I didn't know she actually, even though she was deaf and she was blind, she actually wrote books.
Mhm.
I did not know you with that physical limitation, you wrote books just to great stories as well. And you defeated the odds. Nobody ever, well, I haven't. I've never seen a blind and deaf person in the first place. But let alone for them to do something as creatively or as intuitively as writing a coherent book multiple times for millions of people, and now her name is etched across the entire world.
Well, if you look in terms of genius,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of geniuses they're missing something. When you lose one sense,
Mm-hmm.
another sense is heightened. Like if you ever heard any of the Ray Charles interviews,
Yeah.
Ray Charles described his sight like somebody else's hearing. He said, I hear like you see
Mm-hmm.
because I don't have the ability to see. My ears are my eyes. So I hear things that heightens my imagination.
Mm-hmm.
So when I saw the movie Ray Charles, movie Ray, understand that he went through times where he had hallucinations
Yes, sir.
based off what he heard, because he was somebody who was born able
That
to
could
see,
see.
and he lost his sight over the course of time.
Mm-hmm.
So think about when he's playing music, because he can't see, he's only able to hear. So it's almost like you on a drug where you able to see things from a different perspective. So his hearing is enhanced by
The lack of sight.
you know what I mean? And so when she wrote those books, not being able to, oh my God. So this just hit me. A deaf person cannot hear the negativity that's been said about them.
Mm.
A deaf person can't hear failure.
Mm.
If I was talking smack to you and you couldn't hear me, would that affect your mentality?
I wouldn't even bat an eye.
So a deaf person can't hear the naysayers. They can't hear negativity. So whatever they tell themselves is the only thing that counts.
And that's the only
They
thing
can only hear their own voice inside their head.
Yes, sir.
So they're focused on success because they can't hear the failure.
Yes.
A blind person can't be distracted
because he can't see the distraction
by the bull crap, because all he can see is what's inside his mind.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That's almost like having a horse at the horse race and you put the blinders on so they can't see the left, right. They can only see what's in front of them, whatever they're chasing to try to get to the finish line.
Yes, sir.
that is the most focused person I believe in the world. Somebody who can't hear or see
Tunnel
the
vision.
negativity, they can only see the picture that's projected in the mind that they have created with their imagination. And we know that the imagination is real.
Oh my God.
Imagination is more real than what we are right now.
Yes, sir.
Because the things, okay, I'm gonna go to the Bible. The Bible declares that the things that are seen was created by things not seen.
Yes, sir.
So you have to understand that your imagination is the most powerful thing.
Bruh, Mr. Hill, that's perfect. That the next, this man had a son who did not have ears. He had no ears. This man had a son, and the father, Mr. Napoleon Hill, had a desire and an imagination that I don't care if my son doesn't have ears, he is going to be able to know my voice, hear me, and be able to speak coherently. With that thought and imagination, he then developed stories for his son. And as he started to talk to his son, he started to realize that his son can respond to the words that he said. A year or two later, he goes to buy out a record player, and the son actually hears the record. The son then bites the table. He bites the table in order to feel the vibrations of the music to actually understand it. And from then on, all his father had to do was talk near the back of his head, and his son could actually understand him. That is an unwanting. That is an unimaginable desire to make something happen, and it started from his imagination.
Yes,
literally started from his imagination, and he made it into existence. Was it hard? Absolutely. Was it difficult? I'm pretty sure it was. But it doesn't matter about that. What matters is, did you give up? If you don't give up, a failure is just the door you gotta shut and open. Hopefully something else is on the other side because you learned your lesson when you opened it the first time.
Mm-hmm.
That's what motivated me and moved me in the second part of this chapter. Hearing Beethoven. That man was a genius. He dressed in whiteface and he was deaf and made music for everyone that loved it.
Mm-hmm. And it also, and I don't know if you watched the movie yet. I encourage you to watch the movie. Talks about one of the stories of the guy that created the radio.
Mm-hmm.
He said to his friends, I want to be able to send a signal through the airwaves to pick up music. And he was developing the radio. And he was invited to a business party.
Mm-hmm.
And he started describing his idea.
And of course.
And the story goes that he was all but admitted to a mental institution.
Are you serious?
Because people thought that he was crazy by saying, I wanted to send airways through to listen to music. And when they was evaluating him, the doctor said, listen, you got me in here. I understand people think I'm crazy, but if I can prove to you that I'm not crazy, will you let me go?
Mm-hmm.
And they set up a meeting to go to his laboratory where he had all of his
equipment and resources.
And when I tell you that the man was able to show them that the technology that he was developing was there, all of a sudden now he's not crazy. But think about how it sounds to somebody who is not an inventor. I want to talk to somebody that's not here. What do you mean you're talking about not here? I want to pick up a device and talk to somebody that's in another country. That's how the telephone.
What are you talking about? I want to be able to see my grandmother when I'm 400 miles away.
See, that kind of talk sounds crazy, but until you can prove the concept, it makes you a genius.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they say Einstein had a couple of screws loose. He was a few sandwiches short of a full picnic basket.
Yeah, and
then it's about the mentality. Another story was about this young boy.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it was Henry Ford, but if you watch the movie, he he gets sent home with a letter, a note
Mm-hmm.
to give to his mom. And he never read the note. He gave it straight to his mom. You know how you get pinched?
Yeah,
A note
and
to
they
your
just
home.
don't open it, just hand it over.
This is so powerful. This is the power of mentality. Half empty or half full.
Mm.
His mother read the note to herself first. Like, man. Then she read the note out loud, but when she read the letter out loud to the son,
Mm-hmm.
she read her version of the letter. So the letter said that, ma'am, your son is, in layman's terms, your son is retarded. He can't learn.
Mm-hmm.
Please stop sending him to our school because we can't do nothing for him. You need to doggone fix this yourself.
Yes. Yeah,
because we don't want to spend resources on him because he's not on our level.
Wow.
That's what the note said, right?
Mm-hmm.
So she read the. I knew that was going to happen. I was looking for it to happen. So when she's reading the letter to her son, she says, Mrs. Such and Such,
Mm-hmm.
your son is a genius.
Mm-hmm.
He is above our teaching skill. We have nothing to offer him. I would suggest that you will start a learning program at home because he is above our teaching
grade
capabilities.
Okay.
And when she read that to her son,
Mm-hmm.
she started homeschooling him because she said that you've been removed from the school because you're too smart for him. That's all he knew.
I'm too smart for the school.
So she trained him and she taught him at home. And it's something about holding on to that for a later date.
Mm-hmm.
He kept that letter. He never read it. This man turned out to be the greatest. I don't know if it's Thomas Edison,
Mm-hmm.
but he's sitting in his office, in his desk, 30 years later, and he's looking at all his accomplishments. And then something tricked him to read the letter.
Mm.
And he read the letter, and the letter said that you are incapable of learning, you're retarded. Please don't send him back to school no more. And he said his desk and cried because all his life he thought
he was too smart.
But it's the mentality because he never knew
he was dumb.
He was able to create his own reality.
Yes, sir.
His mother,
there we go,
was the one who was able to shape and redirect the energy that was coming to him and make him successful because it was the mentality that needed to be changed. Because, and this is another thing, everybody don't learn on the same level.
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
A genius doesn't learn like a regular person. They said that Les Brown was illiterate in school. You know who Les Brown is? Motivational speaker, black guy. They said he was illiterate. They said he couldn't learn. And Les Brown is one of the, one of the top motivational speakers in the world. He earns a healthy living just by motivating people. And in school, they taught him he was illiterate, that he couldn't learn. Sometimes we need to hear that type of stuff to trigger us to do things that we would be able to do.
Yes, sir.
It was just the mentality. Is the cup half empty, half full? Either you're not able to learn on our level or you're too smart for us. So, and just because we don't understand how to connect with a person doesn't mean that it's something wrong with them.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
They said Einstein was a weird kid, did things unorthodox, and he's a genius. So the genius people are the ones that have the craziest stories. You know what I'm saying? It takes a extraordinary person to be able to think about talking to someone
on that level,
400 miles away, or seeing somebody 500 miles away
in another country.
and be able to come up with something to make that happen. You know how many times he probably heard the word no. You know how many times he probably heard that he was crazy. And after a while of doing things unorthodox, you might start to believe
Mindset,
that you're crazy.
because you either believe that you're crazy or believe that you're too smart for it.
Or you might believe that everybody else is crazy. Why am I the only one to hear these voices and everybody else is looking at me like I'm?
I know I'm not crazy. I can wait till I get the data for it.
But what do a crazy person say? I'm not crazy.
I'm not crazy.
So it's about the mentality of the person.
Yes, sir.
So Napoleon Hill interviewed hundreds of thousands of people. This is not something he thought up and said, these are some rules I want to do. He talked to many millionaires, many billionaires, and they all had a common denominator. And that's what these principles, these steps are.
Yes, sir.
The common denominator that all these people have said that this is the key to the success is the power of your mentality. Think and Grow Rich is not just a thought process, it's a way of life. When you ask me about my mentality when I'm defeated, I tell people all the time that I'm a natural introvert.
Yeah.
When I was coming up, I was very shy. Matter of fact, I will tell you right now that when I was coming up, I lacked confidence because I had a slight stuttering problem. And as far as public speaking is concerned, I didn't want to get caught on a word that would drive me into a stuttering frenzy. So I was terrified to read out loud in class.
Man,
I was terrified to talk to strangers because that first impression is going. And if I get stuck on a word, I would start stuttering. And it's like I have to stop talking and I have to think about the word before they come out. And it's like
yes, sir.
A lot of work. So internally, a lot goes on, you know what I'm saying, whenever I do something or whenever I'm trying to achieve something. But it's work.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
But the mentality of it is if I can do it inside my mind,
I should be able to put this out.
I can do it in real life.
Yes, sir.
So my defeats are a whole lot worse than you actually see because internally I'm beating myself up.
Overcritical.
Yes.
So let me ask you this. Do you feel like being overcritical or hyper judgmental on yourself, actions, and mindset helps you become that person?
I believe it does because like I said, practice don't make perfect. Perfect practice makes perfect. In order to get to perfection, we have to be willing to get rid of the flaws and you got to be able to critique yourself down to the last microfiber of what you're doing. And when you can be satisfied with everything that you're doing and it's as it pertains to being perfect, then I believe that's when you can start putting your gauge on,
yes, sir.
You know, things like even if you was a rapper, like they say, you know, when Eminem goes to the studio, he puts a track down, it's fire to everybody else.
But it's absolutely.
But the more he listened to it, he started picking it apart.
Yes, sir.
He might be going back in the studio to redo it because he said this is garbage. And you're like, no, this is perfect. No, this is not. This is garbage.
It is, and and again, it all boils down. It all boils down to that mindset, that imagination, and that drive. Because you can have a mindset, but if you don't have the physical drive to do it, you're missing a key essential part of the play. You could have the mindset and the ability to achieve it, but the drive, i.e., laziness, i.e., just going through your everyday mundane routine, that you have to have that drive in order to achieve it. Otherwise, you'll end up falling short. You'll end up falling short of what you want to achieve all the time. That drive is really what makes that mentality strong. To be able to see your work or to be able to see your actions play out the way that you've been, the way that you wanted it to do.
one of the quotes that I wrote down in the book for chapter 2
Mm-hmm.
says that success requires no apologies,
Yep.
no apologies, failures, um, and permits no alibis.
Hmm.
A lot of times, on the pursuit to success and the pursuit of happiness,
Mm-hmm.
we oftentimes are accused of being selfish, or you accused of being
Greedy.
overconfident, greedy, and all that kind of stuff.
Yes,
And a
sir.
lot of people, they're scared of success because they feel like, oh well, I'm going to lose some people. Understand that everybody is not going the same way that you're going.
Yep. Season and a
The
reason.
people that's on the bottom of your life, they're not going to necessarily rise to the top. So what this is saying is success requires no apology.
Mm-hmm.
You shouldn't have to apologize for your success. See, people get into the mindset of being so close to you that they want you to live their life with them. Like if they're broke, they want you to be broke too. The moment you get some money and start doing good, they want to feel like, oh well, you done left me behind. And then they get to this whole thing and say, oh, when you get some money, you're gonna change.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you're supposed to change
Thank
your mentality
you.
because you're doing
You're
different
right.
than what you're doing. If you keep that same poor man mentality and you're trying to attain riches, then
You're gonna end up being poor.
you have to change something.
Yes, sir.
And when you survive the struggle, some people have what we call survivor's remorse.
Mm-hmm.
They feel like they got to go back and pull everybody out of the hood that done fell by the wayside. Understand, people will make you feel guilty for success if you will let them.
Yes,
They
sir.
wasn't up at 3 o'clock in the morning with you grinding. They was in their bed sleeping, trying to get all sleep.
They wasn't up trying to figure out how you gonna make this work. Matter of fact, you didn't pull, and now I'm starting to learn. Nobody is up with you when you pull a sleepless night, bro. Nobody is up with you when you pull a sleepless night.
So I can't be jealous of your success because I'm not doing what you're doing to get it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I'm in my bed 3 o'clock sleep.
But you want to feel the same thing that a man is working over probably 24 hours in a day at one point in time.
Yeah.
That's not fair. That's not fair. Not to the person who's craving that success, who's bringing home that mindset and who's delivering that drive to become successful.
Well, understand that as much as y'all see me working, much as y'all see me grinding, there's somebody out there working harder than me. And I don't deserve the success that he has because I'm not doing what he's doing.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
But there's also somebody who's not working as hard as me, and they want to be able to reap the same benefits.
Mm-hmm.
I used to apologize for my success to a certain extent. And this is something, I don't want to shoot shots at nobody. But there are situations that may require you to not celebrate as much as you would.
I see where you're going.
For an example, I'm just going to give you an example.
I see where you're going with this.
If you have you got a kid and you got a baby mama and you trying to do something with your life, and they might not be as adamant, or they might not be as active in your life as you think they should be. Then once you start doing good, sometimes you have to keep from
showing that,
getting into a whole situation.
Yes, sir.
You have to not celebrate as much as you would normally, because for something it might just be a flap in somebody's face. You know what I mean?
Yep.
I don't know.
And the thing is, this is why I'm starting to like this book more and more. And the more we talk about it, it's helping me to grow my mindset. Because regardless of whether or not you celebrate it as much, the success is still there.
Yes, it's true.
The success is still there. The prominence of what you're doing is still there. And sometimes it's better to hold your celebration for the bigger achievement.
Yes, this is also true. They say if you don't toot your own horn, nobody else will. Sometimes we get into a frenzy of celebrating too prematurely.
Yes, sir.
And we're not focused on the end result, but we're focused on where you are right now. And you get complacent because you feel like you done accomplished something when your job is not done. The end result is not yet permanent yet. You have to get to a place where, boom, now I'm on this platform where I'm actually able to change lives, and I'm able to impact, change. Then I can celebrate because somebody is celebrating me. It's a difference. Don't apologize for your success. But understand that your success comes with a price tag.
And step 5, be willing and know what you're willing to give up for that. Be willing to know what your price tag is.
Yes.
It's not we're not speaking in terms of money literally. Your price tag, again, like we said earlier, could be your time. It could be the people you're around. It could even be the things that you are currently interested in doing in your free time.
Yeah.
It could be any of those things, but you have to be willing to give those up in order to achieve the real success that you are looking for.
Yeah. In success, sometimes you gotta walk alone.
Absolutely.
Success will sometimes require you to walk alone because the people who are attached to you are just not equipped to go where you're going.
Say that again. Say that again.
You know what I mean?
Say that again.
Everybody is not equipped to go where you're going, so sometimes you gotta walk alone.
Yes, sir.
Understand, I said this before, if you're a lion, lions and hyenas don't get along. Some people you're dealing with are hyenas. And what's the characteristic of a hyena? They make this laughing noise and they just sit around and they negative all the time or whatever. And that just might be some people who you're attached to. Understand that one hyena can't touch a lion.
But 20 of
them. And I'm talking about the hyena mentality. Think everything's a joke, laughing at every goddamn thing. 20 or 30 of them people can kill your dream because they're taking shots at you one at a time, and you let that stuff build up on your mentality, it will kill you and it will destroy your mentality.
Hold on, you just said something right there. We about to put it in perspective. You're back in high school, or you're back in middle school. I'm back in high school. I'm back in middle school. We in class. I'm the shy, sitting in the side, kind of quiet to himself, educated, little dude, little nice little dude. However, I don't look the part. And hopefully y'all can know what I mean by I don't look the part. Meaning, I might be smart, I might have myself together. However, my fit, my face, my clothes, it doesn't look the part. Those 20 hyenas see that you're smart. Those 20 hyenas see that you're in the corner by yourself doing your schoolwork. However, he don't got on the shoes. He got on something that's not nice. Let's go ahead and that's an example of a hyena mentality. All of them kids gathering up together, they'll point their finger and laugh and tear down somebody who is smarter, nicer, kinder, just because they're not doing the exact same thing, or because they're not achieving it at that exact same level. That is the perfect description of a hyena mentality.
Yeah. And they will destroy you if you let them.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Man, your mentality is really powerful. So chapter 2 is talking about the desire. And the desire is, that's the first step. In order to get to a goal in life, you have to have desire. Desire is what drives the vehicle to your destination. Understand, if you was in terms of a car, the desire would be your foot on the pedal
In order to go forward.
in order to make this thing move.
Yes, sir.
The car can't drive itself. You have to have desire to drive the car.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to have a purpose and you have to have desire to get there. So the step one in this 13 step situation is the desire. Having the desire is the first step into achieving your goal. If you don't have the desire,
Mm-hmm.
then you're not going anywhere.
Yep.
Because I can say something out loud every day.
But if it ain't,
What
Come on now.
that sign say right there?
dreams don't.
Oh, dreams don't work unless you do. Dreams don't work unless you do.
That's the wow. I hope y'all understand that. That's a statement. That desire doesn't work unless you do. Your desire to achieve something doesn't work unless you do.
You have to have that desire. Because a lot of people have fell short of their goals and dreams because they have them, but they lack the desire. The desire is what keeps you up at 3 o'clock.
Yes, sir.
The desire is what makes you keep getting up after you done been knocked down. The desire is what keeps you on the path to getting to where you're going instead of
Mhm.
going down the rabbit trail. The desire is what makes everything relevant.
Yeah.
If I say I'm going to do something, but I never actually take a step toward doing it, then I'm never going to get there. If I get in my car and get on 95 and just sit there on 95 and say, I'm going to California,
But you right here.
but I'm still stuck in Park.
Where you going?
I can go there in my mind,
Where you physically going? You ain't.
but if I don't have the desire to put that foot to that gas,
Mm-hmm.
I'm never going to get there. Or if I'm driving there and my desire leaves me,
Yes, sir.
I get off the exit
Now you in the middle of nowhere.
and I go back home and say, I ain't got it in me. There are some times when my desire for something is stronger than others.
Mm-hmm.
I can be in mid pursuit of something, and just like a lion, I just stop the pursuit because I don't want to chase this anymore. You have to know when that time is and when it's, when it's defeat whispering in your ear.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
People get those things confused. And
Mm.
if you start becoming a habitual quitter, you're never going to see nothing to the end. But what I'm talking about is the desire to, if I'm chasing something and I only have the stamina
Uh-huh.
to chase
Go
this
ahead.
thing for 5 miles,
I see where you going.
once I get to mile 8 or 9, my desire has left me and I'm going to stop chasing
You're not even going to be running.
because I have to calculate.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about this before. Are you chasing your dreams or your nightmares? I have to calculate the stamina it's going to take not only to catch up to that thing,
But then,
but after I catch up to it, I got to be able to pursue it further.
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So if I'm in a high-speed chase and I catch up to the person I'm chasing, and we're side by side in a car driving,
Now you gotta.
what am I going to do after that?
That's where that you gotta be able to come up with something to go forward.
You got to have enough gas in the tank, enough stamina to keep running, or the desire to see it through the end. Because once you catch that thing, once you have achieved that thing, it's not the end. You have to have the
Mhm.
desire to keep it going, or else that thing that you chase
It'll be off or not, man.
will start chasing you. And then it becomes a nightmare because you don't know what to do with yourself once you get it. And now that pleasure becomes a burden. I used to love chasing this thing. Now I done got it and I'm just exhausted.
trying to catch.
Now I'm trying to get rid of it.
Talk your go ahead,
You know what I'm
man.
saying?
Yes, sir.
That stuff that's a real thing.
And it's more common than not.
It's real. It is. Once you chase something, you get it. What's the next thing? Now you don't want it no more because you like, okay, I done chased this thing down. I done got it. I done conquered it. Now what's the next step? Am I going to have enough stamina to make this a generational blessing, or just going to be a catch and release?
And it goes back to the square thing we've said: desire and mindset. It goes when you catch up to that, what are you going to do?
I'm going to tell you what my desire is. My desire is not only to be successful, but my desire is to make other people successful. So my happiness comes off of the results of other people's happiness.
Yes, sir.
That will almost ensure that my pursuit is a lifetime.
Let me put this in your ear real quick. With that mindset, do you feel like you having that specific mindset and seeing others achieve their success, or you seeing that good work come from them as well? Do you find it inspirational for you to achieve yours?
I mean, achieve what?
For you to achieve your goals, or to achieve your, like, if someone achieves their desire or what have you, they set a goal for it, they achieved it, you helped them, and they achieved it. Does that inspire you to continue to do yours?
It's always going to be inspiration, because when you can, they say that if a great leader has a successor, if you can't duplicate yourself, then that's not
being a great leader,
not great leadership. If what you do, if you're the only one that can do that, and the sun rises and falls on you, then it's almost pointless, because you have to live
and die by that
forever in order to keep this thing going. So if you're not able to duplicate yourself, if you're not able to, millionaires create millionaires. You know what I'm saying? That's why you are a reflection of who you deal with. So if you're dealing with people who are successful, then you're going to be successful, and then they're going to be successful. So you have to understand that it's not enough for me to be successful. Because here's what happens when you're successful and you are hoarding your success like a hoarder.
Right.
If I'm the only one around in my circle that has money, I open myself up to always being pursued for favors, handouts, begging, things like that. But if I can create successful people around me, then I don't have to worry about them always.
The load is dispersed.
Yes, it's dispersed around throughout the crowd.
Yes, sir.
And then I may be able to say, "Can I borrow?" instead of saying,
"Here you go."
You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
That's where I'm at with when I say I want to create people that's successful. Because I'm at a level right now where I could just hoard everything and say, "Get your own." I have to grind, get out the mud, get you out the mud as well. That ain't what I want. I don't like that people I deal with still have needs. I want to be able to create that opportunity for them to not have to have a need, that they can actually start giving out. Because that's the only true way to solve the poverty in our country,
the generational curse.
To break the generational curse.
Yes,
is
sir.
To be able to empower people to do things on their own. I said many times about giving a man a fish, and he's only able to eat when you feed him. But if you teach him how to fish, he can eat on his own, and then he can start handing out fish or handing out hooks or whatever, and teaching other people.
Yes,
so
sir.
Each one teach one, until we get to that point where we can each one teach one and show people how to do this on a level where they can do it on their own. Then we're never going to be able to break that cycle of poverty and having a generational curses.
Yeah, man. Yeah, and I will say that this whole combination of millennial and Gen X, it is starting, especially in Black culture. It is starting to it's a slow wave, but I'm trying to be on top of that wave as it goes over.
Yeah.
I want us to be one of the forefronts that actually solves that. Starting with our community, like we said, we already have a desire for it. We got a desire for a lot of things in the background, land, property, ownership, township. It just has to have a legitimate, thought out, well through plan. Yeah, man. And with that, I will say thank you guys for tuning in. This has been another episode of Inside the Den on Weekly Wisdom Wednesdays. This has been me, Tommy Hicks, and of course, my boy and the leader, Daniel in the Lions Den Evans. And we will be seeing you guys Saturday, correct?
Yeah, we're gonna. I have a definite. My nephew's coming to town.
Oh, Steve G actually coming back. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And he is somebody who I have over a lifetime have had these freaking awesome debates.
Mm-hmm.
He is one of my guys that is a great debater.
He's
going to be coming in this weekend, and he's going to be on the show. So I'm excited to see. I'm excited to hear what he has to say. He is the nephew that is more similar to me than any of my nephews.
Yes, sir.
Has my skin color, has my.
You got your Denzel on that now.
You know what I mean? I can't take credit for everything that in his personality because he do have family. But if I had to say, for example, if I had to do a movie about my life,
he would be your biopic.
He will be the one that plays me at certain parts of his life.
Yeah.
He'll be the one that will take that role. I'll just put you like that.
That makes sense. But I've met him, and he's an absolute. He's an intelligent man. That's all. He's an intelligent man, yo.
So yeah, so I'm excited about this weekend. Stephen Biggs Jr. gonna be in town. My nephew. We're gonna talk about some real topics and some debates and things like that. Can't wait to have him on the show. But this is Weekly Wisdom Wednesday. We're gonna be doing this every week, and you might see a couple more people like leading the pack on this one. I'm focusing strictly on the Think and Grow Rich book on this one, and then y'all see us inside the den on the show. We'll be talking about other things. So we just wanted to welcome you all today. Thank y'all for showing up. We had a couple people on YouTube, a couple people on Facebook here watching us. Hey, y'all, please subscribe to my channel, Inside the Den on YouTube, Inside the Den on Twitch, Inside the Den on Facebook. Subscribe, like, comment. We'd like to hear what you got to say. We love to hear what kind of dialogue we can come up with. But give us some feedback so we can continue feeding this machine, feeding this monster. But we want to continue to doing this. If y'all like what y'all hear and see, definitely let us know. But until next time, until next Wednesday, be blessed. And we hope that the WW Weekly Wisdom Wednesday is able to help your life and help you in some kind of way.
Yes.
And we look forward to try to empower you. So this your boy Lions and Evans signing out. We'll see you soon. Peace. Have a great rest of your week. All right.
You actually got some good feedback.
What'd they say?
One was like, "What's good?" One was like, "Facts, straight up arm muscle."